Hey everyone, welcome back to the Dear Untitled podcast. I'm your host, Nick Beardsley, and this is episode 50. Today we have another cool guest for you and appreciate you stopping in. Today our guest is vocalist Tanis Pellegrini of the band's Lives Lost. The band just dropped their latest EP, Home, on Life or Death Records at the end of April 2025, so of course we had to talk about that. We also get into the history and personal mission of the band and how they came to land Kellen Quinn as a feature artist on one of their songs, and so much more. It's always cool talking to artists, both signed and unsigned, and getting a different dynamic perspective on the music industry, and I love that. With that said, sit tight and enjoy the conversation with Tanis of Lives Lost on episode 50.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Let's just kind of jump right in. April 25th, the latest EP dropped called Home from Lives Lost on Life or Death Records, correct?
That is correct.
All right. We'll absolutely get into that. But first, for listeners and viewers, because this is video and audio, if you don't mind introducing yourself and, your name, role in the band, and what you, anything else you want to include.
My name is Tanis. I'm the lead vocalist and principal songwriter of Lives Lost. Write the tunes, and I kind of do everything: social media management, booking, etc.
You're the front end of everything.
Yeah. Yes, front and back end at this point.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're the face and what's really the social media face.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I was looking at that on your Spotify bio and your other stuff that was sent over, and I was like, singer and songwriter. So you are the machine and the gears. I'm excited.
I am, yeah. I'm excited too.
So you guys are also based out of Hershey, which, shout out PA like we were talking about. So, obligatory question. Sheets
Yeah.
or Wawa?
Sheets.
Sheets.
Although I do think Wawa has better subs. Sheets overall.
I'm starting to agree with you on that. I am.
And maybe made to go too. Sometimes the Wawa made to go stuff surprises me. Like I got chicken bites there recently, and I was like, "Oh, these are pretty solid." Threw them in a takeout salad.
Yeah. Okay. All right. See, I just
But
this week I talked to a band, came out Friend Circle, and
I love those dudes.
it's so much fun. And Zach Johnson was just like, "You mean you don't have Septopia down in Kentucky?" No, I don't. I don't have Hoagie Fest. I don't have any of that. It's sad. I don't even have Sheets in Kentucky. Let's put it that way. That's the worst. Yeah.
What do you guys have? Quick stops?
I guess so. I don't. We have Penn Station subs or something.
Okay, Penn Station.
But I don't frequent it because it's not a good
It's not good.
sandwich. No, it's like going to Subway. I mean, it's just
it's mid.
Yeah, correct. Yes.
The kids say it's mid.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go get my own. That's the worst part, and we'll get into music here. When we moved here, we had to buy a washer and dryer, and we talking to the guy, and he's from Connecticut, and he's like, you know what? There's just like, I can tell you right now, there's no good Philly cheesesteaks down here, and we're like, well, that sucks, obviously, and we're like, what about like ingredients? He's like, no, they don't even make a good roll down here. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. Yeah.
That is a tragedy.
Okay. Back to the band. The bio that on your Spotify, it speaks to a world on fire, and if I can quote, being a refuge for those who feel lost, misunderstood, or simply yearning for connection. So I'm curious to dig into that more. Was it kind of the initial goal of the band to be that, or just kind of how the writing formulated into that?
No, that's day one goal. Yeah, honestly, yeah. So, I like a lot of like, I love everything. Firstly, I listen to so much different music, but something that I feel like modern music misses a lot that I like genuinely am like, "Ah, we need more music like this, is that like we're stronger together mentality and some of the more positive themes, I feel like, and this is not a dig on anybody because I love music like this. And, some of our songs are like this as well. I mean, I delve into my mental health, which is
Yeah.
leaves some dark places at times. But, you look at the bulk of our music and the underlying theme is we're stronger together, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of like something I feel like we're missing that we were really crushing in the 2000s in metalcore and rock and post-hardcore. It was like us against them being like, I don't know, the shitty powers that be or whatever. But like I'm really trying to bring that back in our music, and make sure our fans know like we're stronger together. I don't give a shit if you're right wing, if you're left wing, if you're, you know,
If
I
you
don't
have
know,
no
Buddhist
wings, you know.
or
Yeah.
Christian. I don't care. Like at the end of the day, like our music is a refuge from all of that. It's a place for you to be yourself as long as you're kind to other people. Like we have a space for you.
Yeah.
Like that. I think the world is stronger accepting each other's differences and building a better world tomorrow together.
Wow. That's, man, that's powerful. Okay.
I appreciate that, man.
That's, yeah. I mean, that to hold that, I mean, a lot of bands obviously start with good intentions at times, and then it's like, well, we're just making music. We started out, but that's, that's wholesome.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, man.
so we're taking it back, talking about the start. You started in what, 2021, or was that your
First
debut
one
EP?
one. Our debut EP actually, dude, this is so funny. So we formed in 2020, me and Alan, the drummer. That was it. It was me and Alan, and we went through like a couple like of our friends maybe trying to get something off the ground. Nobody stuck really.
Yeah.
And it was just him and I when we hit the studio. And I couldn't write a lead part for our very first song, Forward, yesterday. I mean, I could. I wrote all of the leads except for the chorus. I couldn't figure out anything that wasn't like an octave. Like I just couldn't with the vocal melody and everything else going. I was like, damn, I really don't know what's right here. So I hit up my lead guitar player for my metalcore band, Aaron Perry, who's just the best guy you'll ever fucking meet. He's an amazing human being. And unfortunately, he just departed. This was his last release with us.
Oh man.
He moved kind of similar to you. He relocated. He's out towards like Dayton, Ohio. So that'd be like an 8-hour drive here for him.
Yeah.
Uh,
I know
and
the
he just
feeling.
can't make that work essentially. But yeah, so we hit him up. He wrote the lead for that chorus, and the rest is history, man. It's just three close friends writing music that we want to be the change we want to see in the world.
Yeah.
Obviously, myself anchoring all of that, like Aaron adding a lead here or there, Alan changing up some of the drums here or there. Um, but like overall, just I'm just cranking out the music that I want to hear and I want to use to inspire other people, really,
Yeah.
since day one.
So there's two things I want to chase on that. First off, you're a 3-piece or a 4-piece? Well, now a
So
3-piece.
we're a four-piece again, actually.
Okay.
So one of my high school buddies, he's now our guitar player, Austin Zeckman. Love him. So
Hell yeah.
glad he decided to join us. He's actually the guy that got me into like metalcore in high school. Like he got me into like Veil of Maya and like Bury Tomorrow and the heavier shit.
Awesome.
So without him, there's really like none of that side of me, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was into the like heavier stuff, but the heavier stuff that was more rooted in melody. Like I've always loved Bullet for My Valentine,
Hell yeah.
um,
Yeah.
for example. But like the heavier stuff, like more scream centric, August Burns Red, Fail Maya, shit like that. He showed me that. Yeah,
Right. That's awesome.
yeah. So it's still Alan on drums, and backing vocals. Chad, who has been with us now since 2023. Chad's our Swiss Army knife. He plays rhythm guitar or bass, depending on, what the logistics of a situation is, because Austin can't always make gigs because he is an executive level person at a hospital.
Fair enough.
Um, we all work around everybody's schedule, but Austin and I have been writing a lot together. He and I write guitar a very similar way because we have similar taste. So this new record we're working on, and I can't get into it too much yet because I still got to clear
Of course.
all the finer details with the label, but it's exactly what I wanted to write about this whole time. Like, just we're better together. This is a reason for us to all exist together. Like, let's do this type vibe.
That's great. Okay, so
Yeah.
Alan, I'm sorry.
Alan's on drums.
On drums.
Chad's technically bass and backing vocals, but sometimes he plays guitar. And Austin is guitar and scream vocals.
I thought it was Austin, and I was like, it's another A name. Alan, Austin, and Chad.
Which is crazy because my last guitar player is Aaron. Yeah.
Okay, just, you're going through the alphabet now.
Just all of the A's.
Yeah, everyone line up. Who can play guitar? Get in here. Come on. Yeah.
Austin's my first bandmate under 6 feet tall. Also, I think. No, I guess Gabe, our one bass player, he was 5'7". But like normally, I'm the short guy in the band, which I'm like very average height, like 5'8".
Right.
And yeah, I'm always the short guy in the band. So now Austin and I are like the same height.
Solid. I mean, it balances out on stage, for sure.
Yeah, we're finally evening it out.
Yeah. So I'm literally holding my finger on the ground, so I on my desk, so I remember to chase topics here before you're going into all my questions, and I love it. So the other thing I think you mentioned, you're in another band. Is that what I heard you say? A metalcore project versus this?
So, yeah. Lasciate is like defunct, but my old band was called Lasciate. Okay. We did like really good shit for the brief time that we were around, Yeah. Worked with Chris Kelly from Galactic Empire, Illustrium. Now he has his own band, and
wow,
get on the name. Hillhaven, that's his band, and now he plays guitar for Ice Nine Kills as well. Chris Kelly from Ice Nine.
Really?
We did our debut EP with him, and he wasn't in Ice Nine Kills at the time, but then we played a launch festival with August Burns Red.
Yeah.
Ice Nine Kills, a bunch of other sick bands. In 2017, I believe, and we kind of hit our stride, and then we had a lot of like internal stuff, and we did a second like EP, but not before basically imploding.
As it is.
Original lineup together and tried to get back together. And we played with Attack and Belmont and Traders in 2020, I think, and it just never took off again. It wasn't the same. Lives Lost is we're doing our thing, and I think we combine that style with like more of the mainstream rock stuff.
Yeah.
And I think I'm way happier making this, so I'm cool with that. But it's like, yeah, I had my other project just kind of fall apart.
I feel like a lot of artists do that, though. I mean, they do their project, and then they're like, nah, I just got to flex a little bit. Not really even a flex, but I got to like stretch my musical range and kind of just let me scratch this itch for a second.
Yeah, it's kind of what happened. I mean, and Sam left. When Sam left and joined What Lies Below is kind of when everything was like, what's the friggin' point,
You can swear, it's okay. But yeah, I understood.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. So, yeah, definitely a history. Tough time to try to get back together in 2020. That was a challenging year.
Yeah, it was.
For sure. Hey, guys, let's get the band back together. March comes around. Hey, guys, we can't do anything with the band.
Yeah.
What a life.
I actually think it was the second half of 2020 that we got. It was like, I think our first show back was like right after quarantine. And they still had people sitting at tables with masks. It was so weird to play.
That, honestly, it's funny. I don't know if I went to a show in that time frame. Obviously, there weren't many, but
yeah,
I'm really.
It was weird. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Huh. Let's I guess, we'll be a little cliche and ask what the story behind the band name is.
Okay, so even crazier, and I don't know if I still have this group chat. Pre What Lies Below, I hit up Andy from What Lies Below,
Yep.
and I had this band concept called Our Lives Lost, like Our Last Night, but Our Lives Lost.
Okay.
And it was gonna be a prog metalcore band. It just never became anything. And then during COVID, I started using that moniker when building everything up, and you know, I came up with Our Lives Lost though because I had just lost some friends to some accidental overdoses and one purposeful suicide, and
Yeah.
I was like, man, I want to do this with the thought of being like from day one. I was like, I want this to be bigger than me. Like I want it to be people coming together for the common goal of being the change they want to see in the world with the great equalizer, which is art, which is music.
Yeah.
I think it's a universal language.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that started heavy, and so the stronger together message makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's powerful.
It did. I mean, our first EP is about dealing with that grief, a portrait of loss, um, which is more, I don't know, like heavy the used, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
I could
which
agree with
is
that.
what a lot of our old stuff is, in my opinion. That's the 5 stages of grief, Insomniac, Johnny Romeo, goes in order, all five.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. Okay. Wow. I because when I listened to it, I was like, yeah, this sounds like, back in mid 2000s style, with obviously more of a modern sound and approach to it. But I was like, yeah, I could definitely like vibe with this. And then obviously when
yeah.
you ended up with my inbox with home and everything, I was like, yeah, this continued because I went back, I listened to all your stuff kind of through, and I was like, yeah, I could talk to these guys. I vibe here, so this is cool.
I appreciate that. It kind of built, in a way where it was like it started off more like classic alternative rock, post-hardcore,
Yeah,
and then like I'm feeling angry again and start adding more of that metal element. And my guitar songwriting is rooted in metal. I'm not gonna lie,
of course.
metal and hard rock. So I like to call Lives Lost metalcore light. Uh, you know, um, Not in an insulting way or
No,
anything, but
you're
you know,
you're accessible core or something like
yeah,
excessive
uh,
metal core. Yeah,
whatever,
something.
as our stupid new T-shirts we just made says.
Did you say whatever core?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
We
my.
just some guy tried to roast us. Oh, dude, wait. I'll read you this comment. This is a sidebar.
Oh, I love it.
This is so the one song on the EP has Kellen Quinn on it, right?
Yeah.
And this guy was like, "Oh, another Kellen Quinn feature," and then started shit talking us, which was wild.
Okay. Started at
Um,
the Kellen Quinn, ended up insulting you. I got it.
yeah, which is just crazy. I gotta see if he. I wonder if he deleted his comment because I don't see it on here. We literally made it into a shirt though,
That's amazing.
which is so funny in
Did you
my opinion.
screenshot it or you just like have that on the shirt?
So
Because
we cut out some words because it would be too long. Oh, I found his comment. No lie, it's just good. And also, this is where it gets weird. One of our fans commented, "It's a video for Found. This is beyond good. Wow, that chorus, really everything. Unbelievable, very moving. Well done," is what the guy commented.
okay.
And we were like, "Ah, oh, thank you so much for your support. Prayer, heart
Yep.
emoji."
Right. The response.
And this random guy goes, "No lie, it's just good. Nothing beyond. Not trying to hate or anything. I just feel like it's not even special. This type of metalcore, post-hardcore, whatever core with the outside the club intro, in search of standardized chorus breakdowns and cheesy washed 40-year-old who made two bombastic albums and fumbled features. Not hating though." So our new shirts say these are pretty good. We had to shorten them. We tried to do the whole thing,
Of course.
and it just looked dumb.
Right.
But that hate, we back and forth with this guy, and he was like, "Oh, not trying to be disrespectful to you guys, just like Kellen Quinn sucks." Essentially, is what he was apparently trying to get at.
Did he say 2 bombastic records?
Yeah, yeah. So he
Isn't
loves the first
bombastic good?
two. Yeah, yeah. So he loves the first two records of Sling with Sirens,
Okay.
and then he feels like they really fell off.
Okay. I was
So
just trying to
yeah,
clarify, where that fell in.
yeah. I had the same thing, but I pieced it together when I was responding to him. I was like, this guy is just mad that Kellen Quinn doesn't belt anymore or some shit,
Real.
But the shirt says Lives Lost, Hershey, PA, whatever core. No lie, it's just good. Nothing beyond. Not trying to hate or anything. I just feel like it's not even special. Not hating though.
That's
I don't know.
phenomenal.
I don't know if I flip my cam on this.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I did it on a white shirt, so it felt more like a YouTube comment or something.
Of course. Yeah. Oh my god. That's
But
phenomenal.
yeah. We had to do it to him.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like anyone at this point opens themselves up anytime they post online, but that's a whole different, that's a whole different can of worms. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, so A Portrait of Loss obviously came out, and then you were in the single release cycle for a little bit.
Yeah, a hot minute. I mean, so prior to that EP, we did the same thing. There's actually like 5 more singles that are no longer on streaming.
Oh, okay.
Released in between Forward Yesterday and Brighter Days and Letting Go Ghosts and the EP.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4.
Huh.
Price It, A Promise, Lost. Yeah, there's 3 no longer on streaming.
Got it.
I just felt like they were too like, I don't know, like more rooted in punk and pop punk in a sense.
Got it. The start. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you left them up, you could let people say like, "Oh, well, I like their old stuff." The first 2 bombastic singles. And
yeah, I love that. But even Forward Yesterday is maybe a little more. It's not though. Like that song makes sense. I feel like.
Yeah.
Like from Forward Yesterday to Brighter Days to Let It Go Ghost to the EP, that makes a lot of sense trajectory wise. Those singles in between Forward Yesterday and Brighter Days did not make sense. So they're gone,
Yeah.
And people were like downvoting them when we were on discovery mode on Spotify. So I was like, it's not even worth it because it's fucking up our algorithm.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So I removed those in 2024. I removed those.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Like, once you kind of hit your stride, you have to kind of curate your presence online, even though it's your. Yeah.
Which I didn't know really. I mean, we have one song that I feel like is maybe still an odd man out. But like not really,
Yeah. I mean, if you love it and you can you might play it, I don't know, but if you can stand by it, then why not?
That song to me is IED. A lot of people say that one's like weird for us, but I think it kind of makes sense, honestly. It's just heavy.
If I recall correctly, that was one of the singles leading up to Home that was not on the album. I think there were a couple more, but yeah.
That and Champagne. Well,
yes.
So IED came out. We released Champagne, our Let Me Down Slowly Alec Benjamin cover, and then IED.
Yep.
And IED is like so much heavier than the first 2 that people were kind of like, what the fuck? Right. I feel like. But now it's like, I think it's our second most played song.
Oh, probably quite popular, given some buzzwords here and there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is kind of, again, just wild how stuff like that works. It's our second song on our Spotify now.
Yeah. It's weird how algorithms just carry like, really, that one,
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So okay, so in the process of again kind of that singles leading up to Home, and kind
Yeah.
of that just progression. Where along the
Mhm.
lines, like, did you go from, it could have been before, but like, did you go from like, man, this single grind, trying to get noticed, hit a label? Where did the label come in?
Label came in when they heard Champagne. When we
Really?
dropped Champagne, we had a really good PR campaign for it through same people that we got you through, I think.
Oh yeah.
Carrie
Okay.
the Four, love those guys. James, Katie, and team, great people.
Yeah.
Uh, and we were on the Blood, Sweat, and Beers podcast. And Justin, the A&R rep for We Are Triumphant, was on there. We Are Triumphant became Life or Death.
Oh,
Um,
that's right. Yeah.
and they started courting us around then, I would say. Back and forthing a little. Like they really like the post-hardcore thing. And then I sent them, or no, Numb the Pain came out, and we were on BSB again, and Justin happened to be the guest on there, and he was like, "Oh, dude, this is what I want from these guys."
Huh.
And I sent him the EP when we finished it, and he was like, "Dude, this is fucking good." Like
Right.
we got to get on a call, and we got on a call, me, him, and Greg, and here we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Yeah. The rest is history. That's awesome and
yeah.
encouraging that it's really all about the placement sometimes. You have a conversation, you never know who you're going to really bump into in this industry.
No, 100%. And I think my other band, I had a problem with like, I don't know, I had this weird chip on my shoulder. But now, and like all of the personal growth I've done with myself is like, no matter who I'm talking to, I want to treat everybody the same way. And I think that's so important. Like, I think I have a problem with authority. And before I would maybe be like, fuck for no reason.
Yeah.
Really, other than my own personal. I mean, don't hide this. I'm mentally ill. Um, and
Aren't we all,
yeah,
brother? Aren't we all?
I have a problem with authority. I'm okay to admit that.
I
So
feel like that's the punk genre. You might want to see yourself down the hallway to the right. That's the other studio.
yeah. Well, I would argue, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. There is something punk rock about what Lives Lost does.
There is.
Truly.
Yeah.
And I think that's like I hear a lot of other bands right now, and I'm not shitting on anybody. I love a lot of these other bands, but they are doing the same fucking octane core or like super heavy metal core thing, and that's sick, dude.
Right.
Do it. You guys are crushing it. I love it. Me personally, I'm equally influenced by all that stuff.
Yep.
Like but if I'm listening to music on my own, like my on repeat right now is probably well, I listen to Lives Lost because I practice with my Spotify.
Of course.
Do you like J rock at all or J metal, like Japanese metal or rock?
One of my friends does. I'm not. I've heard it. I'm not huge into it myself.
Yeah, but like my on repeat right now is Polaris, Crossfaith, Earthis. Crossfaith and Earthis are from Japan.
Yeah.
Train. I don't know the pop band Train. I love
Were
them.
you
I don't
talking
care.
about like not, not, like baby metal, but you're talking about like
No, like Japanese rock and metal. Yeah,
understood. Oh yeah, I'm on board. Yeah, for sure.
but
Yeah.
they have a lot of pop influence in their rock and metal, and I really
Yeah.
love that. Um, Bless the Fall, Atreyu, Devil Wears Prada,
Yeah.
Coltrane, another Japanese metal band, Deathcore, another Japanese metal band, Papa Roach, Novelist,
Yeah.
A Day to Remember. That's pretty consistently what I listen to. With like, I would say I listen to also a lot of like Silverstein, Saosin, and Circus Survive
Yeah.
as well. But I have a lot of that on CDs.
Right.
Uh,
The
so,
classic. I love
oh,
that.
and Thrice. I listen to so much fucking Thrice.
Dustin, a big influence.
Huge influence for me, if you can't tell.
No, couldn't tell at all. No.
What? That's crazy,
Oh
man.
my goodness. Shocker on the podcast.
Yeah, and Stained and Chevelle. There we go. That's yeah.
That
So it's rock and metal, but it's like kind of all over the genre.
yeah. So
And
you,
when I go on runs, I like to listen to like more upbeat, like Rise Against is what I listen to on runs a lot.
yeah, dude, Rise Against. I was just talking about it. Talked to a friend about Rise Against the other day because I think he was talking about someone he's seen in concert and it was them, and he's like, I don't know if I listen to Rise Against too much just outside of a show, but like they just put you in kind of a headspace,
Yeah, yeah,
which is a
because
good
their
thing.
music, it's punk, man. It's punk rock,
Yeah, yeah, it's
of
good.
them.
Um, okay, well, I mean, I think we've you, see you're answering all my questions, and I love this because then I don't have to ask the questions. You're just like, hey, let me tell you about my band. This is my show
Yeah,
now. Yeah, you'll take over next week. Okay, cool.
it's so funny, man, that I'm telling you my influences, but like Chad and Alan, they're huge Red Hot Chili Peppers guys. And they hate the vocalist, but they love the instrumentals. Like Alan, my drummer, his favorite drummer is Chad Smith.
Yeah,
Chad, my guitar player, his favorite guitar and bass, his favorite guitar players are John Frusciante, and his favorite bass player is Flea,
yeah.
and Victor Wooten. And like Chad's an insane bass player, good guitar player, insane bass player, like next level. Actually, all of Home is him on bass.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
all the crazy slap shit you hear that's him. He's the first person I've ever let track bass other than myself, actually. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah, he's that good that I was like, "Here you go, son." You know,
So
uh,
the songwriter giving up the
give him
privilege.
away. He did make the songs better though. Like I feel like, and again, not to like overhype my band, but we have something so unique going on with this last release. I feel like where it's like a friend of ours said this. He was like, "Listen, I could show this to my mom because it's like super accessible and she loves like 90s and 2000s rock, but also I could throw this on at the gym and fucking PR bench." Like,
Yeah.
and I think that's exactly like what I wanted to do with this was like cater to all sides, of that. And because that's what I like. I want my band to be as eclectic as me, but accessible at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Do you ever, obviously you're signed to a label, so like the next steps are more within reach of, potentially getting on radio, like mainstream radio, I should say, like the bigger stations, not just like a local thing or a podcast or a show or something, but like, the next aspirations are within reach. Um,
Yeah.
do you ever feel like, obviously in like the metal alternative, sometimes bands get lost to an extent? Do you feel like maybe your music is on its way to hitting that? I mean, obviously everyone's probably going to say yes, but like realistically, do you feel like it's ever held you back of like, I write because I like this and that's just not what lands there? The octane core.
I'm not gonna lie, Octane passed on every song on this EP. But Kerrang picked it up, Kerrang in Britain, which
Yeah,
is
I did
their,
see that. Yeah.
and Adobe Howl picked it up,
Right.
which is again internet radio equivalent to Octane.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that our music should be on Octane. Absolutely. You can't tell me you can't hear Found or Numb the Pain and be like, this needs to be on Octane.
Yeah.
Uh, I think our music makes sense for what's coming out now. I think honestly, and again, not to like overhype us, we sound like more of what's at the top of the genre right now, in my opinion. Like I think we have more in common with like Falling in Reverse and A Day to Remember and Bad Omens than a lot of bands coming up.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah. That's a very interesting. Yeah. I could see that.
like it's more radio ready, if anything, in my opinion.
It's a lot closer than most. Like, unfortunately, like I don't know if I could put What Lies Below just on my regular radio station. I
Yeah,
I mean, I probably could, but like a local one wouldn't carry it. I'd have to do an internet one that people enjoyed and appreciated metal heavier stuff.
yeah, exactly. And like again, that's not to say like these other bands are doing awesome. I just think like the way I write and how I write things, it's like meant to be accessible because that's what I enjoy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it's
Yeah.
it's always a unique perspective to hear like especially from the DIY side, which I feel like I talked a lot more DIYs than like label artists per se. But, there's always kind of like the label, like, what does it really give me? But it gives you access to some of those resources. And it's not really just like you against them when you're fighting to get on it and fighting to get seen and noticed, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I was, like I said, kind of surprised we got past on Octane on this new EP because I think, like I said, Numb the Pain found both of those. I think sounds like what's on there right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Interesting.
not salty about it either, which I thought I'd be a lot more upset that they passed on us, honestly. But at the end of the day, I'm just so happy with what we're writing. I don't need Octane's stamp of approval personally, and I don't think the label feels that way either. We're building a great cult fan base.
Yeah.
That's would I like to see us grow exponentially? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I write music for the sake of music. I don't write music to make $1 million off of these people by writing the next Just Pretend or something.
Right.
I'm writing the shit that I want to hear.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Lives Lost won't sell out in that way either, to be honest with you.
Well, right, because you're the singer-songwriter, so there's no other choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless it's just a bass album. I mean, apparently the permissions have been granted, so watch out. Okay, so let's talk about the album. Or the EP rather, because you have an album in the works. You have more music in the works, I should say. But let's talk about Home. So, do you feel that so far, and I'm going to kind of like, not necessarily go track by track, because I want listeners to actually go check it out and really enjoy it. But I want to ask, like, do you feel that what the message that you embedded in Home, in the lyrics, is resonating with listeners out there right now? Do you feel that the EP is accomplishing kind of what you set out to just bring to the world?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually get DMs quite a lot about Numb the Pain or Chin Up Kid.
Yeah.
They're both kind of those songs that it's like, this was meant to like bring people in and make them together, Like Numb the Pain is one of those, like, you're not alone. If you're fucked up in the head, I'm fucked up in the head too type songs, you know? And Chin Up Kid is like, no matter what, no matter where we're at in life, like, pick each other up and love each other, because that's the most important thing, So yeah, I think we've definitely done that, and touched people in that way. Like I said, the biggest thing right now is like getting our music in front of more people and spreading our wings out as far as we can.
Yeah, I mean that's every artist's plight, honestly, in this market.
Yeah. Well, dead internet, man. I will say, like, I think since the emergence of AI, and this might be a controversial take, but every band's fucking social media posts are exactly the same. And if you're not running a $600 a day fucking ad budget from your label, you're probably not reaching many people right now.
Is that, I assume that's AI advice? You type in, hey, what's the best music campaign?
Yeah, I honestly, I think that's a lot of what's happening. I think that's what a lot of the big labels are doing right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
They're using ChatGPT and they're saying, hey, optimize this artist. They sound like XYZ. Write me a social media campaign.
Man.
Honestly.
And to think I did a whole, couple years of campaigns just out of my own brain.
Yeah, I know.
That's weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
AI is wild. I did stumble across, unintentionally, it just completely, I think it was on Spotify radio, a completely AI metalcore artist. And I was
yeah?
Well, so vocals, I think, were that artist. Not positive. I think they just made the music or the instrumentals and sang over them. But I was like, the first track, I didn't really pick it up right away. But then I followed them and like was looking around and realized how fast singles were just coming out. And it's like no human can absolutely like do this. You'd have to have years of planning to just pop, 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 pop. And it's really like, I don't know. For me, I guess it's just really scary to see that. But also, I know people who use it for like, shout out D&D campaigns and things like that. Of like, hey, I get my music for this, or people use it for intro, outro of podcasts.
Yeah,
and it's a really,
I think AI has its use. I'm not going to lie to you, but I would love to see it remain out of artistic space personally.
yeah.
But also, if it comes to the point where it's like adapt or die, I will adapt.
Won't we
That's
all?
Yeah, that's how it is.
Well, I mean, next time you come on here, it'll be you'll just be talking to like AI Nick. I don't know what that's gonna look like, but So, with home, the closing track, Found, you got Kellen Quinn on the feature. So, first of all, I'd love if you could unpack how you got to the point of like, yeah, Kellen's the fit. Like when you were writing it, what was that? What formulated to be like? And honestly, I'd love to ask if there were other options.
Okay, there were other options. We'll get into that though.
Okay.
So as you know, I'm like you're talking to me right now, right? I don't have a super low voice. I don't have a super high voice. Like maybe medium high voice,
Right.
And that's where my singing voice is. It's exactly what my talking voice is. That's just how I am.
Yeah.
Some people completely different. Me, you get me at face value. So I wanted somebody either with like a lower and gravelier voice, or I wanted somebody higher, preferably a woman or Kellen Quinn or Dallas Green, Anthony Green type deal,
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually, Dallas Green's probably like too similar to me in timbre. So, I wanted somebody in that realm. I actually talked to two of my friends that are in like local bands. They're a little bigger than local, I guess. Mark from Sixth Century, being one of the first people that I hit up, and Dakota from Another Day Dawns being the second person that I hit up, and both of them were interested in doing the part. And they would have been great. And then we were in the studio and we were talking about this part, and I had a verse written there. And Jeff McKinnon, our producer, was like, dude, no, you got to get like this song needs a next level feature. This is the one. This is the banger. If Octane doesn't pick this up, they're fucking dumb. He straight up said that, And he was like, who's on Octane right now on a shit ton of features and shit? And I was like, classic lover boy trending on TikTok right now, somebody that I've always wanted to work with, that's actually attainable for us in my mind.
Yeah.
Kellen Quinn was more attainable than Anthony Green or any of those other guys that I also wanted,
Right. Yeah, you do have a list. Yeah.
Yeah. And Kellen Quinn has been known to do a lot of features, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I think no harm, no foul. I reached out via Sound Better, I think, maybe, or maybe it was his Instagram. I don't remember. But we got talking. I sent him the part, and he was like, "Oh, dude, this song's sick. Like, I would love to feature." We kind of worked out the details.
That's cool.
And the rest is history. I really think the way our voices contrast, that made that song.
Yeah. Now, do you like when everything released? Which is at this point over a month ago, actually. I'm amazed it's June already. When it released, did Kellen share it at all, comment, or like,
He did. Yeah,
he did. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
So he shared it. He commented on a couple of the posts. He actually follows us and has for a hot minute.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I really my experience with him was unparalleled in anything I've experienced with a larger artist than myself,
Yeah.
We've played with some really big artists, and I feel like they feel mostly inaccessible,
Yeah.
with a few exceptions, but overall just very inaccessible, and he felt accessible and cool, and he hyped up the song and he shared the shit out of it. So
that is really,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's really wholesome. Yeah. That is because you're right. You don't get that with a lot of big bigger names.
Yeah.
Like, because they'll be like, oh, well, you can just, yeah, I'll feature and it's a cool song, but you just use my name as the promotion and good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he didn't do that, which was nice.
Yeah. That is really encouraging to hear that still happens. I know, like, again, I'm just reiterating it at this point. Not everyone does it.
No, you're absolutely right. So
that's really,
I'm
really cool and unique.
Yeah, I agree. And overall, like I said, my experience with him was great. So
yeah,
nothing but positive things to say about the guy. And he even has a couple belts in our song, which I guess is not his normal, according to that hater YouTube comment.
Apparently not. Yeah, bombastic. Yeah. I love that word.
Yeah,
that's
a great word.
I know, it's my new favorite keyword here. Is there any kind of like with bands, like especially probably locally, I'm sure you play shows with just a lot of unsigned DIY projects, which is really a lot of who I usually talk to on the podcast, and a lot of people just kind of working and grinding to a goal of sorts, right? And so you being on a label, is there anything that you would give advice, being in their shoes again, of either how to approach a label, or not so much approach a label, but like in preparing yourself to be signed in the future? Like, if that is your end goal.
Yeah, I like this question. Nobody's asked me this.
Yes.
Be sure that you're ready to put in the work. Because if you're not working just as hard as them, they're not going to work for you.
Yeah.
That's just the fact of the matter. And be sure that the rest of the people in your band are willing to put in the same work as you, because you're going to be really disappointed otherwise.
Yeah. You're quickly not going to have a band if you're the only one doing it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I have heard stories like that. Yeah. Was there anything, obviously, that kind of pushed you guys to sign versus staying DIY? Was it the, hey, we can work together, and this is, obviously a great opportunity, which it's turning out to be? I think it's paying off for you.
I appreciate that. I think so too. Just more or less, I wanted to work with somebody that had a more extensive network than myself. And I didn't really want to hire a bigger manager than our manager, because I really love our manager.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think right there, that is a phenomenal, just succinct summary of bigger network than myself. Because there are precisely that. And I love this side of talking about this side of the industry, because it's just such a, labels are controversial sometimes. But yeah, there's two options. You hire a label and get it. Well, three options. You hire a label, or get on a label and hire a bigger manager, or you hire a bigger manager who has a bigger network to put you in front of bigger things. So it's just like you need to expand.
Yeah, exactly. And, I think our manager, Orlando, he's awesome. He wants to grow with us, I want somebody that doesn't have like 80 million large artists and we're the smallest fish in their roster. That just doesn't work for me.
Right.
I need like a little more attention and care than that.
Yep.
For where we're at right now, I think,
Yeah, absolutely. And you need someone on board behind you that loves your music. I've heard it from many bands of... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they come to you, like, more often than not. I hear usually it's like hey, they reached out to us and they were like, dude, this song slaps. Let's go.
Yeah.
And they're in your boat with you.
Yeah. Orlando reached out to us. He runs sound in Baltimore, and we played a show there, and that's how we got linked up with him.
That's cool. See, you never know who you're gonna meet, man. It's just like
100%.
You take a tour and you run into someone, and then maybe a year, 6 months later, something like that, and you're like, you're talking again. You're like, hey, remember me? And it's just a cool, I love that. You mentioned you do social media for the band as well. So kind of tied into if you're not ready to grind as hard as the label because you won't get anything out of it. Is that tied? Do they help with social media, or kind of like that prep, or kind of like some campaign knowledge?
Campaign knowledge. Give me some post ideas. They give me a lot of post ideas,
Oh,
honestly.
that's cool.
Um, Make sure that I'm like properly engaging. You know, Greg's come up with some cool ideas. Label head.
Yeah.
Justin comes up with a lot of cool ideas. Justin's their A&R guy and head operations. I love Justin.
Yeah.
Justin's the reason we're on Life or Death for sure. Like, just a great guy. Loves music, loves bands, and yeah.
That's really cool. I mean, the whole thing, everyone in your court, it's like, boy, I'd love to walk into work and be like, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Here's a couple.
I feel blessed to be able to say that, honestly.
Yeah. But like, walk into work and be like label head and be like, I got this idea for the band we got. And that's what you do. I know that's not all you do, but like, come on. How awesome of a job does that sound like?
Yeah, that's a sick job.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. But
he's living the dream, man.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I talked to the director of marketing for Metal Blade Records, and he was talking about their owner, and he just sounded like the coolest guy. Because, like Metallica was on Metal Blade way, 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 way back. And it's like, that's how they got their start. So, technically he's got Metallica's numbers in his phone, It's like, it's just, yeah, I don't know. The world is just so small if you know where to look.
No, it is 100%. The higher up you get, the smaller it gets, man.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so again, kind of in tune with, hey, we're about an hour here, which is I've been having a blast.
It flew by, man. It really did.
It did. I want to close and kind of ask you, just, are there any items you want to talk about that I may have missed, or anything that we should know about, or you're allowed to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, we announced some cool weekend tours. We're coming through actually the Midwest here with Crashing Atlas.
Okay.
No Kentucky yet.
It never does.
Actually, so from July through September, we have 4, 8, 12, 10, 20 something dates. So we are actually hitting Kentucky.
Louisville?
Where are we hitting? Oh no, that's right. We moved it. Damn, we moved the last date of tour from Kentucky to Jefferson, Indiana. Some bitch.
That's okay. I'm not offended. It happens.
But yeah, we're coming.
Go ahead.
Like, we have a lot of dates. We're hitting PA, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, Ohio, Indiana, upstate New York, Lowell, Massachusetts, Providence, Rhode Island, North Carolina, Alabama, all 3 corners of Florida, all 3 corners of Texas.
Wow.
And Tennessee. And I think we actually, not on my schedule yet, but I think we are confirming a tour coming through Kentucky.
Okay.
At the end of October. Yeah.
All right. Well, if you come through Central Kentucky, let me know. Obviously.
I'll let you know.
Yeah. Usually tours are in, let's see, Cincinnati, Louisville, or Nashville. And Cincinnati and Louisville are about an hour and a half, and Nashville's like 3. So not terrible to get to, obviously, because you traveled more than that.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. If you're like within, I don't know, maybe 4 to 5 hours, I'm like, it's probably, you've probably traveled 16.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, especially we're in Hershey, so,
Yeah, it's 10 for me from here to get back there, to get back to Philly. So I'm probably at Hershey at 9.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So tours this summer.
Check out the website, stay in touch, www.liveslostband.com. We are at Lives Lost Band on everything. So, be sure to stay in touch.
I love this.
And,
you're doing my job for me. This is great.
I love that. And obviously, if you're one of our fans, watching the podcast, be sure to drop our podcaster a follow.
Oh, thank you. I do appreciate that. All the love. And hey, look, if they have comments, and I'll say it here and in the outro when I record it, but if they have comments on any platform, which is really cool, you can comment on shows on Spotify. I don't know about Apple Podcasts, but definitely on YouTube, and I think a few other places. And if there's other questions that they have for you, I mean, I'm more than happy to circle back and say, hey, or I know you'll be, lurking the socials as well, and you can always chime in. So you're around and available.
110%.
That's cool. Love that. All right. Well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Yeah, this has been fun. I want to close out by saying thank you to Tanis for taking the time to sit down, and also to James Lloyd of Carry the Four Publicity for putting us in touch. Very cool opportunity. Make sure to go check out Lives Lost new EP Home on all streaming services, and give them a follow and a like on social media. You can find all the links in the description of this episode on your current platform to make things quick. If you liked what you see on the channel, as always, a like, comment, or follow on your platform of choice to Dear Untitled means a ton. I read comments on all platforms, Spotify, YouTube, and socials. So if you have anything else you want to know about the artists, or have answered by the artists, or another artist you want to hear on the podcast, sound off. It's been a couple years coming, but we made it to episode 50. Let's keep it going. Until next time, this is your host, Nick Beardsley, saying stay safe and keep rocking.